We are here for you, the ISB show, Sahil Rahi, continuing African football. My goodness, what a wild ride this has been, Rahi, my friend. And before we get into the match that we're going to cover, or matches, I should say, that we're going to cover, because there's two big matches coming up this week and then another big match coming up down the line. We have to go down memory lane, Rahi, and figure out how we got here.
I have no idea. At one point, I threw the Nigeria jersey to the side. I was done because they looked dead and gone, looked like it was over. Because at that point, South Africa didn't have the points deduction. At that point, we weren't sure that they were going to go with the rule that the last place team, that game didn't count. There were things to be figured out. And somehow, some way, out of the depths of despair, the Super Eagles are back with an opportunity to qualify, and it's as good an opportunity as you could ask for. Considering the way this team started, considering how in the depths they were at the beginning of qualifiers, this is a massive opportunity. And if you're a Super Eagles fan, no matter where you are, you take this because you thought, like I thought, this was over.
Yeah. Let's show what things look like. So this is how it all landed. And what Rahi's referring to, of course, for those not in the know, is that Nigeria edged Burkina Faso in the last minute of their match, getting the goal difference that they needed to qualify now for a one-off playoff against Gabon, while Cameroon takes on DR Congo. And that is all for the spot in the interconfederational playoffs for Africa, my friend.
Yeah, and it's complicated because look at Gabon. Look how good they've been in qualifiers. They're a tricky, dangerous team, particularly up front. And we know Nigeria has had some trouble defending. That's been an area of weakness for them. So we shall see.
It's going to be, okay, let's talk about Gabon first. It's going to be a big match for Stanley Nobwili up front in the goal for Nigeria, because up front, two names stick out, Rahi. And of course, those names are Denis Bouanga and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang for Gabon.
That's right. I mean, these are decorated players. Certainly Aubameyang, a very, very famous name, and he's an incredibly talented player. Of course, scoring the hat trick in the last game and then getting the game before, getting the red card. Luckily, he's back for this game. But Denis Bouanga as well. If you don't know American soccer, he plays in the U.S. and he's an incredible force. So these two guys are difficult to deal with. Gabon, if there's one thing they can do, they can score goals. So this is going to be a tricky affair for Nigeria.
Yes. And now moving on to the Nigeria side. I mean, Nigeria Rahi has got to be so pumped, though, after the way things happen. And so, and Osimhen getting the goals in the last match, he's got to be pumped as well.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? You got to be so on a high after the way you're able to somehow sneak through. And doing it with your best player carrying you on his back, Victor Osimhen, with the hat trick and an incredible performance. And you know how good a player he is. And then, of course, the huge late goal by Onyeka that gets them through. But there's so many players on this team that will be licking their chops at this opportunity. Of course, Ademola Lookman. It's going to be a moment for this generation, for the Super Eagles team. This is their chance to qualify for a World Cup that they all believe they should be in. And a big moment for their Malian manager, Eric Schell, who came in a tricky time and has done incredibly well. So we shall see. If you're either Gabon or Nigeria, you're feeling very good about this opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity for both of the teams in terms of this particular match. All right, let's talk about this, because these are two teams that'll be disappointed, frankly, that they ended up where they did.
Yeah.
Especially Cameroon, but DR Congo had their moments too. So what do you have to say about that? Yeah.
Both teams that at one point were sitting atop their groups that looked like they could consolidate top position. Cameroon, of course, will be severely disappointed because of that loss to Cape Verde that really turned the tide of this group. It's an incredible story for Cape Verde, but it's real disappointment for Cameroon. And we shall see how that disappointment, how they use that as fuel, whether they're able to get over a difficult, tricky DR Congo side that will feel aggrieved as well. So you're right. It's the opposite in many ways of the other game, where both teams will be excited about the opportunity. Here, both teams will be really kicking themselves. And it's a tricky one to find a difference here. Both talented teams, both have big players playing in the Premier League. We shall see.
Yeah, it's interesting, Cameroon, because specifically Onana, their goalkeeper, has got he might be one of the most criticized players in the world, right? Had his stint at Manchester United, didn't work out, and then he made a huge mistake in some of the qualifiers for Cameroon as
Yep.
well. And so it's tricky. But then, of course, on the other side, of course, Brian Mbumo, who's been playing fantastic.
Playing really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see that on that side, and then of course DR Congo with their group of talent here. Of course, Wisa and some other players as well. So like you said, it's a very even matchup, and given the fact that both of these teams will be disappointed, I feel like there's going to be additional pressure by both of these teams to win this match.
Yeah, extremely even, right? You think of Mbuemo, how good he's been. So there's almost like these players cancel each other out in a lot of ways. They're very equally talented teams in a lot of ways. Cameroon, of course, with more pedigree and more history as a footballing nation. But we shall see. It's really difficult to pick the winner here. And it's going to come down, I think, to a moment of magic or to a big mistake.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to come down to as well. And then what happens, of course, is whoever wins this match and then whoever wins the Nigeria-Gabon match will also face off. So we could get some very interesting combinations. We could get the Nigeria versus Cameroon combination that everyone is probably expecting. I have a feeling it's not going to go so simply. I think there's going to be a twist in the tail. I don't know about you, but that's the way I feel.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. DR Congo has been incredible. It's very fascinating. And the funny thing is, this is just to get to the playoff after this. Yeah. So it's a long, arduous road for either of these teams. All four of these teams, if they're going to find a way to the World Cup, they're going to have to do it the difficult way. So we shall see. It'll be really an incredible story for one team if they're able to get out of this and then get out of the interconfederational playoff.
I do feel the way that these teams are positioned, though, whoever gets out of this is going to be feeling so good about the fact that they got through this gauntlet. I would back the African team in that interconfederation playoff. That's the way I feel about this. But we shall see. One more look down memory lane for all the fans of all the different teams, but really Nigeria, what an incredible run it's been so far. And let's see, can this run continue as they take on Gabon? Rahi, final thoughts as we finish up this video. For those of you who enjoy the videos, please subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, there's always room for rebirth, for redemption in Africa. I think we saw it in the last AFCON, the way that Cote d'Ivoire was able to recover and ultimately win. Maybe that's Nigeria this time around.
It could very well be, or is one of the other teams going to spoil the party? We are almost there to find out. We will see you all after the matches. Keep watching the beautiful game.